Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I was able to do a quick upgrade to this car, and I don't know if you can see it from here, but I was able to install new brakes on this car. Basically we have here the Endless two-piece front rotors, as well as, I don't know if you can see it, but there is the Endless MX72 Plus brake pads. And this is really a track and circuit focused pad, but you can use this on the street. Today I'm going to be doing a driving video with it, just see how it feels. It's going to be my first time with this brake setup, so hopefully it'll feel good. In terms of the performance benefits, so the Endless two-piece front rotors, the hat is made out of duralumin, which is a really strong, lightweight material, and in the fronts, I'm able to save 14 pounds, so 7 pounds on the left, 7 pounds on the right side as well. And because of this duralumin top hat, I think that's where most of this, the weight savings come in. The great thing about this two-piece rotor is it's not a big brake kit. It can work with the factory STI S209 caliper. This is the Brembo caliper that comes standard on the S209. And you can see that we have the Endless two-piece rotor here. The rotor is heat treated, and they do this to prevent cracks, because this thing is gonna see a lot of heat over time at the track. And so Endless does a really good job of making sure that the rotors won't crack over time, but time will tell. I'm gonna give my own review of it as I do performance driving this year. So that's the upgrade I did in the front. You can see in the back, I have the matching one-piece rear rotor as well. And this is the same size as the factory OEM Brembo rotors as well. And it works with the rear calipers. So this, there's no weight savings here, but you do get the benefit of the heat treatment of the rotor, the curved vanes, which should help with cooling over time when you're on the track and doing performance driving. Yeah, really excited to see how this setup runs. So yeah, today I'm really tired. I just finished doing the whole install, and I want to go grab some dinner, so we're gonna go drive out. I'm gonna go get some takeout from McDonald's. So yeah, you guys can see my first impressions. So I did change brake pads, and I do want to try to bed them in. I know it's going to be hard to do because right now it's like rush hour, there's some traffic, so it's going to be hard to do a lot of high speed, just full braking in order to really bed them in, but I'm going to do my best. So right now the brakes, they feel like they have a little less bite compared to the STI brake pads that I was running before this. But we'll see how it goes when I just keep braking this in. I'm saving like 14 pounds of rotational mass, but honestly it's really hard to tell right now while just doing some street driving. You can't really tell from like little improvements here and there, but over time, you'll start to feel that the car feels better when you do enough of these weight reduction modifications. So I think I'm definitely gonna have to bleed my brakes. Yeah, that's the next thing I'm gonna do when I find time. Just change out, I think I'm due for changing brake fluid. I like to do it at least once a year. I use the Motul RBF 660, and so that should maybe help have better brake feel. Right now I'm not getting that initial bite that I normally got with the STI brake pads, but again, I think they're still bedding in. I think over time it will improve. I'm surprised I don't hear any noise. these brakes are actually super quiet right now, which to me is really a surprise, because the MX72 performance pads are supposed to be really track focused, and so they operate better at higher brake temps. So yeah, as opposed to the STI brake pads, those are more of a like a dual purpose street and track pad. These Endless pads are definitely a lot more track focused. You really have to get the brake temps much higher to really see the optimal performance of these pads. But yeah, overall on the street, these things are working just fine. Yeah, can't really complain. So I just want to talk a little bit about why I decided to choose Endless brake pads. And the main reason is because when you look at what the S209 already had, you know, they had the 6-piston front, two piston rear, forged monoblock Brembo calipers, and I wanted to switch to a different rotor that could help save weight and also help with brake cooling over time. And so having curved vanes from the Endless rotors will definitely help. The other thing I wanted to do was manage brake fade on the track, and that's something that I always felt when I was on the track. You know, my last couple of laps definitely wasn't a good feeling with really high brake temperatures. And so I'm hoping that these Endless brake pads and rotors will be able to combat the higher brake temps that I was dealing with at the track, which caused a lot of brake fade and really wasn't very confidence inspiring. So now I finally have some open road, I think, and I need to do some like full braking of this thing. Can't get a good full brake in here. There's try here. Oh yeah, it feels actually really good. Braking hard, that felt really good actually. It's so like controllable. I don't know how to describe it. So the STI brake pads, like the initial bite was always there, but you don't really get that linear feel when you're braking. Here, the more you press your brake pad, like the more bite you get. So it's kind of like a very linear bite with this. It's something I'm still getting used to, because with the STI brake pads and the stock setup, that was actually really good. I mean, I did really enjoy that initial bite, but overall, I think it might be, with that type of setup, I would say it is a little bit hard to control. For instance, at the track, like I think it is better to have a better like linear brake feel. So like the more you press on it, the more brake response you get. And so I'm hoping maybe this is something that I'll get used to and I might like more than the previous setup. It's always hard to, you know, break in your brake pads without looking like a fool. Like this is the best I can do. Like go to this kind of remote area and do some like middle. Oh, there is someone here. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna have to leave. I don't want him to see me doing that kind of stuff. Yeah, okay. Hopefully that might help a little bit. And now we're gonna go to McDonald's. Yeah, I spent all day today changing out my brake rotors, my brake pads. It really is a whole day process, you know, and I wanted to make sure I got everything right and not miss anything. So overall, I am really enjoying this, actually. Yeah, I think this new brake setup feels fantastic. Much more linear brake feel. Yeah, I think I definitely need to bleed my brakes though, because I am feeling some like what do you call it? It feels squishy, and when your brakes feel squishy, that's when you know it's time to change your brake fluid. Yeah, hopefully that will help with that squishy pedal feel. There's no one behind me, so I'm gonna do a high-speed brake here. Oh yes. Oh, that feels so good. Wow. Yeah, this new setup is really impressive. Oh my gosh, yeah, like the moment you really get into your brake, like you press more on the brake pedal, it feels so good. Like you can really control how much pressure to put on your brakes, like to get exactly how much braking force you want with this new setup. Like I said, I don't really feel the difference in less rotational mass. I mean, it's really hard to feel that with like just 14 pounds lost of rotational mass. So I am planning to get lighter wheels and tires. So this is something I'll probably do much later, because I am going to use this setup, the Continental ECFs, for a while. And you know, just to mention, the ECFs, these are actually one of the lightest tires you can get, and with that comes a trade-off. So personally, I like stiffer sidewalls. You get a lot better steering feel, a lot better steering response, and with these Continental ECFs, the sidewall is too soft, and you really lose out on that steering response. So I am planning to maybe try out the Yokohama. I might get AO50, well, I can't get AO52s. I'll probably get 8009s. It's actually their new 200 treadwear, more endurance, like track tire. So I'll try that. Or I might just get the Falcon RT 660s. You know, if I really want to do super 200 treadwear and have my tires wear out much faster, but get much better lap times, then the RT 660s would be the way to go. But I think having a lightweight wheel setup with this new brake rotor and pad, oh my gosh, that would be a beast to drive. I think lighter wheels would really transform this car, because those wheels are actually super heavy, the stock wheels, and something I'm not super fond of. I do like the styling. I mean, the styling's great and everything, but it's just the overall weight. You know, I am trying to shed weight in this car, and so that's probably the next thing I'll do. With the new brake rotor and pad setup, along with all the other modifications I've done, I have saved so far 115 pounds, and that should be really noticeable. So I am looking forward to using this setup this season on track and see exactly how my times are going to look. So, you know, when you look at the aftermarket, again, I'll mention it again. Personally, I think brakes are one of the most overlooked performance part on for this platform, for the WRX and STI. You know, everyone is so power hungry, they'll do their power modifications and then they'll just cheap out on brakes. You know, they'll use their stop techs, they'll get their centric blanks, they'll use hawk pads, etc. And honestly, I mean, those are cheap options that might be good for the street, but if you're gonna think about doing real performance driving, you gotta look into much higher top tier options. And for the US, the things people looked at were like DBA and Girodisc. I would highly recommend against those. Look more in the JDM market. I think things like the Endless Rotor and Pads, if you can, you know, if this fits your budget, definitely get something like this. Or, as I mentioned before, the Project Muse are good. They're really a top tier rotor as well, and pad. Or Dixel rotors. These are all top tier options in my opinion, and something that you know, the US market should definitely look into. I am really enjoying this new setup. pedal is a lot easier to manage now, and it takes some time to really get used to, because with the STI performance pads, you get really that initial bite, and it felt great. I mean, I can't lie, I really loved that initial bite. It really makes you feel like really confident, because you know how strong your brake pedal is. You know that like once you press it, you're gonna start braking right away. But honestly, it was hard to control. It's something that like you can't really control with the STI pads. Like you'll press it a little bit and you'll get instant bite. And with this new Endless rotor and pad setup, like I mentioned, it's a lot more linear, something that I can control, something that I can probably have a lot more confidence about in terms of braking zone. And when I'm on track, or you know, just driving like this, I know exactly how much I need to press the brake pedal in order to get to the speed that I want to get to. So you know, my initial impression of this Endless rotor and pad was just like, oh my god, like I'm not getting that same initial bite that I got from the STI pad. But you know, the advantage is that there's a lot more control over the brakes now. It's a lot more linear. The more I press into it, the more braking I'm actually getting. So yeah, something I will definitely get used to as I keep driving this car. Alright guys, you know, I think I'm going to end the video there. You know, I don't want the McDonald's people to see that I have this GoPro on my forehead. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. You know, this was really my initial impressions of the Endless brake rotor and pad setup. You know, to summarize, I think that it definitely takes some time to get used to, just because with the STI pads, I did get that really initial, really strong bite with the STI pads. With the Endless pads and rotors, it's definitely a lot more linear feeling. The more you press into it, the more braking response you're getting. So something I'm getting used to, but I think overall it's going to help improve my times, because I can now control exactly how much brake response I get versus the STI pads. Also, I think over time it's going to work well because of the curved vanes. Going to be good for brake cooling. With the heat treatment, it's not going to crack on me. It will be durable. And yeah, this setup can definitely handle much higher brake temps. So really, I'm super interested to see how this will perform on track. So yeah, that was pretty much my initial impressions. If you guys like this video, feel free to like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know what you think about Endless rotors, pads. Let me know what brake setups you guys run. So thanks again. Hope to see you again soon.